It's Jocelyn here at Studio U, here to bring you a little basic yoga course here. And before we get going, I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight about what we're going to be focusing on in today's practice. Hopefully this can lend a little motivation and inspiration and focus for you today for your intention. And what we'll be focusing on is one of the fundamental concepts that we practice in yoga, not just in our postures on our mat, but also in our daily lives off of our mat as well. And this concept is creating a balance of sukha and sthira. And you don't have to remember those terms. They're just the Sanskrit terms for cultivating a balance between relaxation and steadiness within our postures and within our lives. And when we bring in these concepts of both creating a strong and steady posture as well as a relaxed and comfortable posture, we really create that ultimate balance for the body to thrive within each posture. And also that's going to create that nice balance for the mind, the emotions, the energy, just everything's going to unite here. And that's what yoga is all about. That's the literal meaning of yoga, yoga to unite, body, mind, and spirit. So we're going to do this on our mat by really paying attention to our bodies and what's happening within as we're moving through the poses. So I'll invite in some times to really hold our postures, and we can find those places. Maybe if we're feeling a little too relaxed in the posture, we need to add some focus and strength. We can find where can we engage a little bit more to create that sthira, that steadiness. Or on the reverse side, maybe we have a little bit too much strain in the body from focusing on being so strong in it, that we need to find some spaces in the body to just soften and relax. So as we come into each posture, whether you're holding or you're moving, just pay attention. Where can you cultivate a little more strength, a little more ease, and gradually we'll work our way into that ultimate balance of sukha and sthira today. It's all going to begin in a nice, comfortable, seated position. So go ahead, we're just going to cross the legs here, or if you like sitting on the heels like I was, you're welcome to do that. But I'll invite in that Sukhasana, easy seated pose. We can stagger the feet in front of each other. We can stack them on top of each other, whatever feels more comfortable. In order to create stability within the posture, we really want to build it from the ground up. So that all starts with what's connected to the ground below. And here we're going to start with those sits bones. So we're just going to rock a few times side to side and just let yourself find a nice little gentle sway. You can use the hands, pull the extra stuff out of the way. Don't be shy here, we all have it. We're just trying to get that boniness, that boniest part of the sits bones directly connected onto the ground beneath us. That's going to set the firm foundation for our easy seated pose. So once you've distributed weight evenly on both sides, we can then really plant those sits bones down and then let the body begin to relax down into these roots. To help us ground down, we can even rest the palms face down on our knees. And we can close the eyes. I'm not going to do anything you need to see quite yet, so you can just close the eyes and let the face and the jaw relax. Before we do anything else with the physical posture, let's become fully present in this moment through our breath. The breath is what links it all, body, mind, and soul. So let's feel the breath flow freely, both in through the nose, as well as out of the nose. Just beginning with a nice natural breath, noticing the length and depth of your own natural breath. Gradually deepening the breath, we'll layer in that diaphragmatic breath. So we link the breath with the movement of the belly for that body-breath connection. Maybe even taking the hand over the belly here to really feel it move. As you inhale, the belly rises and presses into palm. As you exhale, the belly sinks, softening away from palm. Inhale, belly rises. Exhale, belly falls. You can keep the palm here, let it rest on the lap. Either way, continuing with these deepened diaphragmatic breath. Drawing awareness to that connection of the sits bones on the mat beneath. As the sits bones sink down into the mat beneath, you can feel the muscles of the glutes, the hips, and legs all soften as we sink a little deeper, creating that stability through the roots beneath. We sink deeper into the earth, we sink deeper into the center of the earth. And as the whole entire skeleton begins to open up, long and strong bones and muscles, those inner organs and that inner tension can start to soften, finding that sense of ease. Where can you find a little more engagement and strength? And where can you find some softness and ease? Creating that balance, holding the greatest balance you can, just for a couple more breaths. One more breath here. The exhale will empty softly, steadily, releasing into roots. You can flutter the eyes open. Let's join on an inhale. Arms can sweep open and up to sky above. And exhale, join the hands, seal it down, heart center. Palms press inward. As tailbone softens downward, we come into a heartfelt intention for the practice. Maybe joining me in that intention of balance, and that strength and steadiness. Maybe a simple mantra, I am balanced. Whatever comes to mind and heart. Invite that intention in, let it spark some inspiration, some motivation. Notice how you feel here as you breathe that intention in. And send it through the body as you release it out. Soak this moment in. And you can release the hands, flutter eyes open. And we're going to set up a stable posture in our tabletop. So we're going to circle the legs around. We're going to plant those knees underneath the hips, the shoulders over those wrists. The hands are spreading wide, so my middle fingers are straight forward and the rest just fan out from there. And before we go right into the movement, let's just feel the shoulders engage down into the back and draw into your abdominal strength. Right there in the low belly, we'll start to draw in and upward. And we're taking a couple breaths, the inhales, creating length through the entire spine. And as you exhale, push down into the palms, the shins, the feet, feeling the engagement with the shoulders, arms, and legs here. Holding that strength. Take another breath, feeling length. And pushing down even more, feeling that engagement, that strength. Move into some cat-cows here. Let's just start with an inhale to prepare. As you exhale, point that tailbone down towards the ground here, and you're just rolling through the spine, one piece at a time, creating softness through the neck and head as we push down. And as you inhale, tailbone points up first. We roll through the spine, one piece at a time, reaching out and up through crown last. And exhale again, pushing down. So we're pushing away from the ground as we find that engagement through cat. And on the inhale, we're floating up and opening heart forward, releasing weight down into ground. Exhale, pushing away, round and engage into that cat.
take your time. Inhale, arch it out, releasing down, finding cow. One more exhale to push down, articulating through the spine as we round into cat. Now let's slowly bring our way into our neutral tabletop, taking a breath here, feeling that engagement through the shoulders, they shrug, through the core, it draws in and up. From here we can tuck the toes and lift those hips slow, find downward facing dog. And to create a wider, stronger base, we can take the hands apart a couple inches here. Again, middle fingers stay forward, the rest fan out wide. And here you can take any little gentle movement you like. Sort of just shake that head side to side as we loosen up, and we're walking out through the heels to really open the backs of the legs. Remember to carry on with those diaphragmatic breaths here, breathing strong and steadily in and out of the nose. Take a couple more walks here. We're creating that sense of lightness and uplift as we push away from the palms and feel that length coming all the way up through the sits bones. And we're going to create a little more ease here. So you're going to lift both heels, feel that length from wrist through sits bones, and then lower the heels down, softening down straight into the hands and feet. Let's hold for a couple of breaths. We're creating that strength, that engagement through shoulders, through core. And we're creating that ease, softening through the crown, the heels, the face and jaw. Breathe here. And let's just start to soften into the knees. Let's peer forward between those thumbs. In any way you need here, no right or wrong. We're just going to allow the feet and hands to join into a forward fold. So just take your time here. The feet just gently kissing the mat here as we work our way into our fold. And then just let the legs and feet take the weight here. Bend the knees as much as you need and start to release the upper body down here. Maybe we bend one knee as the opposite starts to extend. And then give it a little gentle switch. And take a few more switches just like that here. Following your breath, maybe inhale for one little switch. And exhale for that second switch. Keep moving here. You can extend through both legs. Soften the knees as much as you need. We'll release the head and the hands down into the ground here. So we're pressing down through the feet, rising up through the backs of the legs. Feel that inhale, create length. And we're releasing down from our sits bones all the way through the crown, releasing the hands down. And take a couple breaths in this fold. So we're finding that stability through legs and feet, and that release through the upper body, soften with ease. We're going to root firmly through both feet. Again, you can bend the knees if you need. As you inhale, we'll push down into the feet, reach the arms open and up, reverse swan dive to stand. And let's join the hands, seal them down, heart center. Very lovely. Press the palms in as the tailbone softens down towards the heels. Let's lift all 10 toes, imagining the four corners of each foot pressing firmly down. And perhaps we press the feet away from each other. Without physically moving the feet, we feel that energetic awakening of the space between the feet. You might feel the hip bones broaden here, a little extra activation of those quadriceps. That's great.
So find that strength from the waist down. Send those exhales down and out through the feet. Send those inhales, that lightness, that uplift through the heart, the head. Exhales for heaviness, grounding downward. Take another breath. Inhale from feet up to heart. Exhale down to the four corners, root seek. And we'll rise out of roots here. We'll inhale, sweep those arms open and up to sky. Exhale, reach it up and out. Swan dive down, forward fold. Let's inhale, half lift. Fingertips can meet the mat or hands can meet shins. Create length and space. And let's exhale, forward fold. Release deeper. Inhale, reverse swan. We'll open out and up, rising out of roots. We'll exhale, seal the palms, heart center, grounding. And again, we inhale, open the arms up. And exhale, reach up and then out. Swan dive down, forward fold. Let's inhale, halfway lift, lengthen out. And exhale, forward fold down. Inhale, reverse swan, open and up, we'll rise. And exhale, seal the hands, heart center. One more time. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, swan dive down, forward fold. And inhale, halfway lift, lengthen out. And exhale, forward fold, relax it down. Inhale, reverse swan dive, open and up, we rise out of roots. And exhale, seal the hands, heart center. Let's close the eyes. Taking a couple of breaths here in our mountain pose. This is a wonderful posture to create that optimum stability as well as ease, right? So palms press in, pelvis sinks down. That low navel starts to draw in and up, so we're lifting up out of our torso. And we're settling down through the shoulders. Let's take a couple breaths here, those same balanced breaths, up and down the body, just like we did before. Maybe connecting to your intention, your word, or your mantra. Let's release the palms, flutter the eyes open. And now from here, we're going to move into another standing posture that's great for this concept here of balancing the strength and softness. We're going to create a nice wide-legged stance. And here, in order to create our goddess posture, we're going to point the toes towards the upper corners of the mat. So go ahead, you can turn the toes out towards the outer corners, and you can always wiggle the feet out just to create a nice wide and strong stance. If it's so wide that you're feeling unstable, bring it in a little bit. So here we're going to start to open the arms out. This is our 5-pointed star. So I want you to imagine reaching towards all 4 corners of the room, like we're stretching from that strong center all the way out beyond the 4 corners of the room and out, down into the earth, up into the sky. Inhale to feel that opening. And exhale, let's soften down into our goddess. Holding for a moment to check in with alignment. Make sure you breathe here, those diaphragmatic breaths. So here, we can lift the 10 toes,
making sure we're pressing down through the four corners of each foot. You can add some activation by pressing the feet again energetically away from each other. The knees are pressing open towards the pinkies, so much so we can see those big toes, and the tailbone softens down so the booty isn't poking out here. Hold in that strong core, low belly pulls in and up. It's gonna help hold support. And then as we inhale, we're gonna open up to that 5-pointed star. Here we go, open. Feel that length and strength, and exhale, soften with ease down into your goddess. So you're softening through the pelvis, the shoulders, the face. Inhale, long and strong through the whole body now. And exhale, soften through goddess. Inhale, open up, 5-pointed star here. And exhale, goddess. Find softness. Inhale, long and strong, 5-pointed star. And exhale, goddess. Sink it down. One more, inhale, open, long and strong. And exhale, sink it down, find softness. Check in with the alignment here, pressing those knees open, tailbone down. We're gonna hold for a few rounds of breath here, finding that balance of strength and softness. Perhaps softly gazing forward or closing the eye. Feeling the inhales create that openness across the chest and the hips, and exhale to sink it down. Even if you're not sinking lower, we can still think about softening internally here, finding that sense of ease. Take a couple more breaths. I know the legs might be burning a little bit, but let's embrace these sensations as sensations creating strength. We want to gain strength, right? So let's invite it in and invite in that softness. Where can you relax a bit? Maybe even it's through the mind. Set that positive affirmation to find that sense of mental ease. More breath, I know we're burdened. See if we can ease into it just a little bit more. Maybe that feels a little good. Inhale, we'll straighten it out. Maybe not. And exhale, bring hands to hips, relax it out. Now that should definitely feel good. And we definitely deserve a nice forward fold. Just to stretch those legs back out here. So let's go ahead and take the toes forward. And again, play around with that stance if you feel like you can handle a little bit more width outward to create a little more depth within those hips, go for it. Or if it feels a little unstable, bring it in. So we'll inhale, lengthen. And exhale, feel the pelvis slightly tilt forward here with control. Control your breath all the way down into a wide-legged forward fold. Fingertips can meet mat. Maybe we want to hold off a little bit to cultivate that strength through legs and feet. And whenever you're ready, you can ease down into a bit of a deeper fold here, however you need here. And we're bringing a little bit more weight onto the balls of the feet. That way we can really send that length and strength from the heels up through those sits bones. So feel that inhale create that length and strength. As you exhale, from the hips down through the head, we soften with ease, releasing into the posture here. Beautiful. Surrender your weight down into the earth. The earth never fails to support you. It's always beneath you here. So trust in that strength as you build that own strength within your own body and mind. And just let it all go. Release the stress, the inner tension down into the earth. Let the earth soak up all that stress. Continue breathing. We're almost there. Beautiful. From here, you're going to press down into the palms, and you're going to gently lift the upper body just a little bit here. I'm going to find engagement through the legs, feet pressed down and out, engagement through your core, low belly in and up. Slowly bring the hands to the hips, holding that engagement. And with the lightness and ease, we'll inhale, reach out and up through the crown of the head, rising out of roots. And hold still as you exhale. Maybe release the hands and just let all of the blood, the energy, the breath just flow back down. Notice how you feel here with this revitalization of energy. Very good. And here we can start to wiggle those feet together, maybe heel toe it in, maybe you step, give it a little hop, because hopping is always fun, right? Maybe it cultivates a little smile, a little giggle. And then here, we're gonna find a nice mountain stance at the top of our mat, and we're gonna flow it back down to the ground together. So get a little loosey-goosey here. Don't be afraid to dance through your flows here. We don't have to be stiff and robotic about it here. That's why this quality of lightness and ease comes in, right? How often do you let yourself just kind of let it go and soften into things and even relax, right? So let's practice that here. Find a nice fluid motion and breath. We're pressing down through the feet to create that activation, and we're gonna inhale, rise up for that lightness. Exhale, we'll reach up and out. Swan dive down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, create length and strength. And exhale, let's fold, let it go. We're gonna plant the hands nice and wide. We're gonna step it back one leg at a time into a plank. You can always lower one knee or both for a half plank or keep them both lifted. And now keep breathing here. A little bit harder to find ease in plank, but we can, especially through the breath. So let that breath send length and strength throughout the whole body. And really push down into the ground as you lift up through the core, engaging those abdominals. Just taking one more inhale. Hopefully you're shaking like me. I'm shaking like crazy over here. We're gonna use an exhale. Lower the knees, the belly, the chest, all the way down here. Good, flattening out the feet. I'm just gonna wiggle back a bit just so I'm completely on my mat here. So to create stability in our cobra, we're gonna press down into the tops of the feet as well as those hip bones, and then we're just gonna feel the palms come underneath the shoulders. Shoulders roll down the back, so we're also lifting up through those core muscles. So we're gonna create lightness and ease through the upper body. So we're gonna inhale, gently rise up, and exhale, lower. So inhale, we rise out of strong roots, and exhale, we lower. Two more. Inhale, rise, baby cobra. Maybe lift those hands in lightness. And exhale, lower. And again, inhale, rise, baby cobra. And exhale to lower. From here, we're gonna inhale, rise one more time. This time, palms plant. And exhale, let's tuck the toes, slowly transition, coming through that tabletop, and then we'll lift the hips, find downward facing dog, and we're just gonna hold here just for a few rounds of breath. Down dog, its core quality is balancing body, mind, and spirit. So it's a wonderful one just to come into that little transition from our more heating postures into our cooling. So let the crown release down between those thumbs, and let the weight equally release down into the hands and feet. Taking a couple of those diaphragmatic breaths, smooth and steady breaths. Where can you engage for strength? Where can you soften with ease? These two qualities will create balance in our posture, allowing us to hold it longer. The longer we hold, the more benefits we get, right? Don't be afraid of those shakes, even those burning sensations. They're nothing bad. They're just part of strengthening here. Maybe soften through the crown, the head, the face, the jaw, everything relaxing. And whenever you're ready, no rush. We'll slowly start to plant both knees down onto the mat, and we'll send those hips back into the heels. Knees can open or close, whatever is comfortable here, and we're finding just a nice child's pose.
that first posture that we usually go into when we're going into the passive half. So we're just gonna let ourselves relax. And now we're fully embodying that sense of ease. Right now we can really trust in the earth to create that aspect of strength. And now we don't have to engage as much. We can just soften in that sense of surrender and let ourselves relax in the trials. Take a couple breaths here. Close the eyes. Crown comes down. Very slowly close the eyes and just start to walk those hands in towards the body here. So we're just going to carefully bring ourselves to an upright seated position. Consider slowing down here, right? We're always, usually a lot of us are in a fast-paced motion due to the busyness of our everyday lives. And we can use our practice as that way of cultivating that sense of relaxation in our lives, letting us slow down a little bit more. So even as the mind wants to rush ahead, because a lot of times that's what it is used to, right? Letting us slow down through the body is eventually going to move into the mind as well. So let's go ahead and circle those legs around. And we just have a few more postures here before we relax it down. So we're gonna go into a nice seated angle pose here. So scoot back a little bit. You can open the legs wide. If the heels aren't comfortable on whatever surface you're on, you can always just scoot back a little bit more. And here we're just gonna ground ourselves onto those sits bones. So those little rocks side to side. Equally distributing weight on both sides. And then you can start to pull those toes back as you reach out through those heels. Nice and long and strong legs will lengthen from the sits bones, rise out of your roots through the crown. And here we're gonna fold. So just one hand at a time, we're gonna take it forward. Here it's not about how deep that fold is. It's not about letting the nose meet the ground. If it does, fine, that's great. But if not, that's great as well. So let go of how the posture looks and focus on just feeling good here. With those sits bones and those strong and long legs holding our foundation, we can sink down into the earth. So soften shoulders, the head, the face, the jaw, and let's hold for a few breaths here. And let's just gently reach out through the crown of the head, finding that length, that strength. And then slowly walk the hands in with ease. Remember, we're letting ourselves slow down a little bit. Give yourself permission to slow down and relax. We'll pull the legs together. We'll counter that forward fold with a little mild back bend on our backs. So go ahead and work your way there in any way that's comfortable here. So maybe just coming onto the forearms and just setting yourself back. It doesn't have to look too pretty here. If you have a ponytail in the middle of your head like me, you might want to take it out just so the back of the head can relax on that mat. And here, we're going to set up that nice strong bridge posture. So let's start with our foundation. So here, it's the shoulders palms and feet that we're really gonna anchor down into. So maybe we press the palms down, pick those shoulders up, and give them a little extra tuck down into the back pocket. So the scapula are completely flattened on the mat, the arms are reaching long and strong, and we can pull those heels in as close as we comfortably can. As long as we feel stable here through the shoulders, palms, and feet, we're ready to go. So go ahead, start with a little tuck of the pelvis. So the tailbone is going to tuck underneath you, so much so you're flattening out the low back. And really take your time here. Remember, we're permitting ourselves to slow down. So let's push down into that foundation as we peel the spine one vertebra at a time off of our mat here. And we only need to go as high as that point right below the shoulder blades. If you want to move it a little bit higher up the spine, that's okay too. So we can just hold in this nice simple structure of our bridge. Shoulders pressing down as the fingertips reach long and strong towards those heels, and we're reaching out through those knees as those hips start to lift a little higher. Maybe close the eyes, hold for a couple of breaths. Where can you create a little more engagement? Where do you feel your strength? Maybe you imagine that block between the knees as if you're holding it here, activating the inner hips and thighs. And where can you find some ease here? Maybe even just through the face and jaw. One more breath. Feel that length coming through the front half. And feel that strength through the back body as you push down into those roots, grow higher. Feel that sense of ease as the hips grow lighter, maybe even lifting up onto the balls of the feet, creating that nice uplift, and we'll slowly curl it down one vertebra at a time. Use your breath here. You're tucking through that pelvis, flattening out through the low back, and we really want to give that spinal column the full stretch it deserves. So often it's compressed, and here we can give the decompression it needs by stretching it out first. And once the tailbone hits there, we can relax it, decompressing any tension. And just sit with this for a moment. Notice how you feel. Give the ground your weight here as you relax the body with ease. And slowly to counter that, let's reawaken the low back, hugging one knee in at a time into the chest. You can just hold underneath the knees like this, or even give yourself a big hug here. Maybe sink in stillness if that feels nice, or if gentle rocks come, that's great. Make sure we move our spine in every which way, and we want to neutralize it here, so we're going to do a nice little twist to close the asana or postural portion of the practice. So here, let's start by taking the knees down. You can pick any side you want. You get to set the rules here. So pick one way to take those legs down. They're going to stay stacked here, and you want to try to keep that opposite shoulder down here. So maybe if you have a pillow or blanket nearby, you can take it underneath the knees if you feel too much strain here. Or maybe it feels good, you can just let the legs fall over. Head can come up, or you can gaze towards that opposite hand here, whatever feels best. And remember, we're just letting the earth create that sense of stability, giving it our weight. And internally, we create our own sense of sukha, or comfort and ease, softening into the posture. Right below the ribs, we soften at that solar plexus, allowing that whole lower half to just fall over. Make sure you're breathing. Just activate slightly through those abdominal muscles, helping us to carry those legs back through center. We'll take it the opposite way here. I'm gonna have to scooch my booch over a little bit to give myself some room. And when you're ready, you're just gonna take it to the opposite way here.
Remember, we want to try to anchor the opposite shoulder. You can increase sensation by drawing knees closer to the chest or lessen it by drawing them away from the body. Whatever feels best. Breathing here, smooth, steady breaths. Breath here. Really let it go right below the ribs, twisting, wringing out any inner tension or stress. And activating through those abdominals. You can carefully carry the legs back through center. And you can give yourself one little hug here, bringing the forehead up into the knees. Use an inhale, create that little squeeze. And let's exhale, release down. We're opening up for our Shavasana posture, which is just Sanskrit for corpse pose here. Or as I like to tell the kids in kids yoga, it's the do nothing pose. So I really want you to try to do nothing here. Try to just relax the body. If the cats and dogs are distracting you, you can let them. Just let them snuggle in here. Try to tune them out. And just focus within, closing the eyes. Soften the entire body down into the mat. Imagine yourself almost liquefying. So we're expanding beyond the physical body, beyond the four corners of the mat, and we're just flowing into the soil. Finding a nice relaxed breath. We can take a few moments of silence and stillness here. Aware of the gentle rhythm of your natural breath. Feel them gradually deepen. Feel some wiggles through the fingers and toes, beginning to slowly reawaken. Move the head side to side here. We can circle those wrists and ankles around. Just feel into your body, no right or wrong. Maybe reverse those circles here. Get out those cracks and kinks. Point through those feet. Let's inhale, take a big wake up stretch, reach arms overhead. And let's release. Slowly we can hug our knees one at a time in towards the chest. Give yourself that big loving hug. And let's rock side to side a little bit. Letting one side pull you a little bit more. So you're going to roll onto one side in a little side lying fetal. So you can let that head rest in the bicep, and we're just taking that last little resting moment. Maybe close the eyes. Going nowhere. Doing nothing. Top palm can press down into the floor. And we can slowly press ourselves to an upright seated position, or just any comfortable position that you want to close this practice in together. And we can just find that nice stability through the lower body, whatever's connected to the ground. Find that sense of uplift and ease as we lengthen through the crown and soften down through shoulders. And let's close this class with a nice deep breath. Inhale, the arms can sweep open and up. And ceiling palms, exhale, meet the heart. Thank you so much for joining me in this class today. I really appreciate it, and I hope you've enjoyed the light in me